Hi everyone. Here's just a super quick video to show you how to use the native MIDI 1.0 and MIDI 2.0 loopbacks in Windows MIDI services. Up until now, you've always had to rely on third-party tools for this, but we now have this built into Windows. So first of all, this is where you need to go to get the preview of the MIDI 1.0 loopbacks, which are what most people are going to want to use. These will be built into Windows here in the next couple of months, but right now they're a separate download. So if you go to our GitHub site here and look for the releases, if you scroll down, you'll see it has lots of information about what's in this release, as well as information about the loopbacks. And if you scroll down, there are a couple of files that you're going to want to install. So first of all is the Windows MIDI Services basic MIDI 1.0 loopback preview. If you're on an ARM PC, you're going to download the ARM64 version, so like a Qualcomm PC, recent Microsoft Surface, etc. And if you're on an Intel or AMD PC, then you're going to download and install the X64 version. And then once you download and install that, you will then have the service plugin for these basic MIDI 1.0 loopbacks. The second piece you're going to want to install is the SDK runtime and tools. And what that does is it gives you access to the MIDI settings app, which we'll show here in a moment, which is what you need to use to create these different loopbacks and to also work with the rest of the MIDI system in Windows. So again, if you go to github.com/Microsoft/MIDI, and if you look at the releases, so if I just go straight there and look at those releases, you'll see down here on the right it has releases, and I can scroll down here to the App SDK and Tools Release Candidate 3. By the time you see this, a newer release candidate may be out, but take a look and see whatever is the most recent there. And again, scroll down. After reading the basic information here, scroll down, you can install those two components. Now, once you have that installed, let me just close that out. Once you have that installed, you'll have the MIDI settings application. And if you've installed the plugin for the service, the MIDI settings application will have this MIDI 1.0 loopback endpoints. That's something new. What we've shipped in Windows so far are just the MIDI 2.0 loopback endpoints, which are designed for working in a MIDI 2.0 centric system. So let me show you those very briefly, and then I can explain why we did the MIDI 1.0 style as well. So if I click on create a new loopback endpoint pair here, you see the loopbacks here actually require having two endpoints, and each endpoint has to have a different name. And that's because MIDI 2.0 is bidirectional. And so if we want a MIDI 2.0 loopback, it needs to work in both directions from each side of the conversation. So think about two applications that want to talk to each other. For a MIDI 2.0 conversation, they each need to have an in and an out available to them. Similar to if you have two classic MIDI 1.0 keyboards and you want them to be able to control each other, you're going to need two sets of cables that are cross-connecting them. This is the same idea here to enable that bidirectional communication. And then if you give that loopback a base name, it's going to create, so for example, I can call this MIDI 2 loopback here. If you type that in here, you're going to get loopbacks named MIDI 2 loopback A and MIDI 2 loopback B. Now, that doesn't work for everybody because you have lots of existing scripts and tools and everything that have hard-coded names in them for the loopback endpoints. And so we created the MIDI 1.0 loopback endpoints. And what this enables you to do is to create loopbacks that are 100% the same as what you would use with a tool like loopMIDI or loopBE or any of those other tools out there that create loopbacks today. In fact, I created, just to demonstrate it, a loopback here with the name loopMIDI port 3, even though that's not a loop MIDI port. It's just named exactly the same so that you could use these without having to change your scripts. This also includes the ability to mute endpoints. You can see this one right now, mute these loopbacks. This one is muted so that you can make them not transmit messages, but they are still listed here and they don't go away, and you can also delete them. So if I create a new basic loopback endpoint here, and I want to call this video demo loopback, I don't have to give it a description, but I can. The description shows up in tools and it's available to DAWs and whatnot. There's a unique identifier. We generate one for you. It's just a bunch of gobbledygook. You generally don't have to think about that unless you are building something where you need to control that loopback at a unique identifier. For most of us, you could just leave it as the default there. It's a random ID generated each time. And then finally at the bottom here, if you've gone through the initial setup in the MIDI settings application when you first install it, it's going to create a configuration file. And that configuration file on your PC is where the definitions for the loopback endpoints are stored. And interestingly enough, you can take that configuration file, which for the technical folks is just a JSON file. You could take that and you can copy it and put it on another PC, and all of your loopback endpoints that you've defined will be moved over to that second PC. So again, really good if you have multiple PCs you need to keep in sync, like a home PC and a gigging PC and stuff like that. So we're going to retain this loopback so that it exists across reboots. I hit OK. And then here I have the video demo loopback. So that has been created now, and it's usable by other applications. So let me pull out just a couple of command line tools here really quickly. If I look up, if I say MIDI num endpoints here, that's one of the tools that comes with the SDK. You should see here a video demo loopback, which is down here towards the very bottom, and it's got the transport ID of basic loopback here. So that is now available for other applications to use. So I'll open Pocket MIDI here, and the input on this is going to be the video demo loopback. Sorry, that's off this. Let me see if I can pull this down a little bit. Input here, it's still way off the screen, sorry. But the input on this is that video demo loopback I created. So it's monitoring that. And if I go over here into the console and I say MIDI endpoint play notes forever, I can then go down to video demo loopback, and you see that I'm communicating between two different applications here. I could have two instances of Pocket MIDI or anything like that I wanted to. Interestingly, the MIDI console here is a MIDI 2.0 application. Pocket MIDI is a MIDI 1.0 application, so that we can have those side by side just fine. In fact, I can open up another console here just real quickly, and I can say MIDI 1 monitor. And excuse me, I'm going to use port number 3. So if I say port 3, and you can see this is using the same API that Pocket MIDI uses, and I'm getting all of that data there as well in a MIDI 1.0 format. Now, if I want to see the MIDI 2.0 representation of that, I can open up yet another monitoring console. So again, everything's multi-client now. I can open this up and say MIDI endpoint monitor, and I can go to my video demo loopback, and you can also see I'm getting the UMP, which is the MIDI 2.0 compatible format version of that data. Okay. And in fact, I could take that even further if I wanted to, and I can close this here, and I don't remember the command because it's been a little bit, but if I say play notes help, I think it's just -MIDI2. Yep. So forever -MIDI2, this will send the MIDI 2 version of those to the service. So I could say MIDI 2, scroll down here to the demo loopback, and we're still getting MIDI 1.0 data here, which is what we'd expect. We're getting MIDI 1.0 data there, which is what we'd expect. If I go and monitor again, I can say video demo loopback. We're getting MIDI 2.0 data here. And that's because we do all the translation in the service. So it doesn't matter if your application speaks MIDI 2.0 or speaks MIDI 1.0, you're still going to get access to the type of data that you need. Okay. And now if I go back to the MIDI settings application, you see here is my loopback endpoint. I can create as many of these as I need. They are all stored in that configuration file I mentioned, and they all exist inside the MIDI service in Windows, so it doesn't require any additional drivers or anything like that. Now, of course, right now, I'm recording this in the middle of March. There is a bug with Windows MIDI Services, and it's my bug, I'm ashamed to say, and I'm sorry for the trouble that it's caused, where we don't recognize loopMIDI and similar ports that were created after the service has started up. So we do have a fix for that, a preview for the fix, because the actual fix will be out in Windows at the end of April. We have a preview for that in our Discord server. So if you go to aka.ms/MIDI Discord, all one word, and you scroll down here to, there's an early preview releases, the dynamic ports fix here for loopMIDI, RTP MIDI, Yukon, SSL, a whole bunch of things. This actually fixes quite a bit, which is why it's urgent for us to get it out there for everybody to use, is available here. And if you are using an Intel or AMD PC, you can install this version. And if you're using an ARM64 version, you can install this version. The reason why this is on Discord instead of just straight up on GitHub is we want to be able to provide support for that, and the best place for that is on that Discord server, where you can see folks who are having problems can start conversations, and then we help work through those particular issues there. So again, go to aka.ms/MIDI Discord, join the server, get the latest bits, the KSA transport preview to be able to use your existing loopMIDI and other drivers there if you want to use those. And if you want to use our built-in stuff, then go to our GitHub repo and try out what we have there on preview. All of these things are rolling out through Windows here at the last week of every month. We have an update on what we call the D week, or the fourth week of each month. So we have, and it's documented on Discord, which issues we've run across that are being fixed in each of those and which new features are rolling out in each of those. So give our new loopback endpoints a try. We hope that they'll work really well for you. And if you want to use your existing stuff, try out the KSA preview transport from our Discord server. And regardless, if you have any questions or you run into any problems at all with Windows MIDI Services, as we're rolling it out here at the beginning of 2026, then please just post them on our Discord server, because that's the best place to keep track of all that, as well as benefit from all the knowledge that others have gained. So thank you.